the sun. There we go. So just take a few moments to allow yourself to come into your body. Feel your breath. Allow yourself to drop into the relationship of that downward flow of energy, the apana that we explored last night. Feeling the grounding and the connection to body and earth, the physical plane. You might even feel guided to allow the hands, if you're seated, to touch the floor or the body. Bringing in, once again, that essence of the heart. The awareness of anahat. As we offer loving compassion towards self, we just take this moment to check in. Notice the flow of your breath. Riding that wave of exhalation into the earth. And then we're setting the intention here as we feel the support of the earth and each other in our container that we've created, of now creating an energetic container around ourselves. So we can do this if we're standing, we can do it seated. You can do this anytime throughout the day. You can reaffirm your container whenever you need to. So creating that intention that you're going to create an energetic container. And sometimes I bring the container down from spirit or sky, and sometimes you can bring the container up from earth. So since we were connected to earth, let's try earth, and then tomorrow I'll bring it down from sky and spirit. So as you feel the connection towards earth, you can use your hands if you want to start to draw a container, pulling the energy up from the earth and drawing it around the body. Feeling it circle around. So you feel a sphere or a bubble. You might even feel drawing around yourself, this bubble, using both hands. And so the first time you create an energetic container, if you haven't brought it into your practice before, it might feel foreign, but just note every time that you come in and you practice it, your connection to your energetic body, your pranamaya kosha, your container, your energetic container will become stronger. Once you've felt the container arising for you, just take a moment to settle within your energetic container. Noticing what it feels like to be inside this protective sphere. And when you're ready, we're going to lie down onto our back. As we feel relationship of body to the earth, you might notice as you just take a moment to find earth, the imprint of your body on the floor. The invitation to have the legs bent or straight if you want. And as we move from that stability, that sturya of water or of earth, and then we move up into the fluidity of water, jala. Start to feel your breath flow in a fluid quality, coming into Durga Pranayama, our 3-part breath. Feel your body expanding and widening, and that exhalation to keep the anchor to the earth as we move into fluidity, as we move through water. And so water at times can be rushing, and we might feel we get swept away. And at times, there can be stillness and equanimity. As you notice, we rise from the base of our spine visually up to the lower spine, below the navel, connected to our dwelling place of the self. And we're just going to go into some pelvic tilts as you visualize this 6-petaled lotus or disc. And each time you feel the exhalation, allow your pelvis to lean back into the mat. Allow the bottom of your pelvis, your ischial tuberosities, your tailbone, your sit bones to gently reach forward and up. You'll feel the lower back press into the earth. And then as you inhale, allow the bottom part of the spine to reach towards the floor. The ischial tuberosities, the tailbone, the sit bones. You'll feel the lower back arc away. So just find your rhythm of pelvic tilting in a posterior tilt. The lower back presses into the mat. And then an anterior tilt as you pass through neutral. Feeling the lower back gently arc away from the floor. This abode, this place of dwelling of ourself and our connection to others. So connected to our gonads, our emotional center. So as you're moving here in some pelvic tilts, you might even notice are there any emotions arriving with you today in your practice? And seeing if you can feel, we were talking about the aurora borealis, we were talking about just dwelling in ourself. And this connection as you're doing some pelvic tilts towards the emotional center here. And this checking in with self and your relationship to yourself and your relationship to others. And then just pause in stillness. And we're going to go in, just allowing the arms to spread out to the side. And my body is asking me to grab a block. So I'm going to grab a block and put it in between the inner thighs. You can choose to not have one if you don't want to. Feeling the gentle gathering if you have a block. Allowing the thighs to float up, if not, feeling the inner thighs and the feet coming together. If you have something in between the thighs like me, you might feel the feet staying parallel. Just going to go into some core twists. As you exhale, just allowing the legs to go to one side. Inhale through center, and then exhale to the other side. Just creating some fluidity and stability here. Feeling your breath flowing easily. Just noticing this rhythm. Your head might flow with the legs. You might even go in a half moon shape. So instead of just going left to right, you can bring the legs to one side and then draw them up a little bit. So just bringing in that quality of Chandra. Noticing this area of the pelvis. Sometimes when we have different emotions, we can check in and ask body, where are they landing for us? Where are they expressing themselves in the body? And releasing the attachment to I or the ego. So here, we might find that we might have in our consciousness, I am sad or I am happy. And if we can drop the I and just notice the emotion that is present, happiness, sadness. And so we can be present with it without being attached to it. And then just pause and allow, if you had a block there, to shake it out. Just gonna feel the knees bend a little bit. And notice, do your arms just want to wrap behind the back of the legs for a very gentle baby pose? Some of you might feel drawn to grab hold of the ankles. Some of you might feel the big toes or the feet. And then just bring that quality of flow in the practice. Notice the connection to extending out through the hips and the kidneys, balancing our water. And as you feel the flow coming in, we're still feeling the awareness of the element of earth. So can you have stability and fluidity pairing in your exploration today? And just let that release. And just going to come into a little technique for the back of the pelvis. So last night we did the little jostling and the tapping. And so to free energy that's held within the fascial system and the body in the back of the pelvis, you can have the knees bent, allowing the feet and the hands to be on the floor, and then lifting up the pelvis and just tapping it up and down on the floor. It can be quite gentle, you can let the energy just slowly move through the pelvis, freeing. We're tapping the back of the sacrum, allowing that freedom to release. And then you can pause there, see how that feels. And do a little jostling with the feet, pressing into the feet, just letting the pelvis come up slightly off the floor. And as you root through the feet, you'll feel yourself jostling vertically. And then you can push through the feet and allow the pelvis to sway left to right. And see if the body would like to root down through the feet to express into a bridge. You might feel the arms stay down, palms down. Maybe they come out to the side. Maybe they express in a cactus or overhead. Breathing into the lower spine, around the navel, below the navel, through the hips. The relationship spreading to the pelvis, this bowl of the pelvis. Allow bridge pose to release, drawing the legs in, giving them a hug. Okay. I'm going to go into a butterfly. So with the feet coming right together, so the big toes and the heels are coming together, we're going to open the feet so that the soles of the feet are touching. Now, sometimes this is a very vulnerable place, especially if we've experienced trauma correlated to the second chakra. So you can bring in sometimes a blanket or a pillow and create just a little container for the pelvis so it feels safe. You can pause here, feeling the feet root into the floor. The outer edge of the feet, the pinkies, the heels, and then as you root the pinkies and the heels, see if you can allow the feet to root down strongly so that pelvis just floats up off the floor, feeling the glute muscles gently activate. Hovering here in space, energizing this area. Noticing if there's any stagnation or holding, and then lower that back down. And if that felt good, you might want to go into it again, pressing the soles of the feet together as if you're in a Anjali mudra, this mudra of honoring. And then the pinky side of the foot, the outer edge of the heel, roots down and the pelvis floats up. Feeling the glutes activate, energizing all through the pelvis. This lotus in the area front of the lower spine. And releasing down when you're ready. If you feel from that, in bringing up the energy that you feel like a little bit of energy needs to be released or invigorated, you can do what we call butterfly flaps. So we're just doing them on the floor, and you can just allow the legs to flap. This is going to allow movement to happen, a release to happen. So with this being the energy center, just notice if anything does tend to be released. We're cleansing, we're healing. Sometimes emotions come up. Beautiful. Let the butterfly flaps be there for as long as you want. And then notice, do you want to pause in the butterfly or do you want to bring the legs together? My body has asked me to bring the legs together and just put on the pillow. You can have a blanket, you can have weight, and just want to pause here. The mudra is being called in for the second chakra right away. And this mudra is the right hand on the lower belly. And this is the Svadhisthana chakra mudra. And the left arm, you bend the elbow so the forearm is a little bit more parallel to the wall away from you. So you're in a right angle with the left arm. If it doesn't touch the floor, just put a little bit of support underneath it. And allow yourself to receive nourishment through the right hand and releasing what's not needed out through the left side of the body, the left hand. And then you can receive through the left hand and allow it to flow through your body, through your heart, through your hands, into the dwelling place of your own abode. And take a pause here. Notice the energy that was created that is wishing to flow through the pelvis, anything that is ready to let go. Embracing this quality of change and fluidity. I'm just going to take a few more breaths here. And then we're going to roll over to the side. Come and sit up. And just sitting however you want. And just want to bring in the awareness in the seated position of the element of water. And so the finger that is related to the element of water is the pinky. So the thumb is going to touch the pinky. And this is that connection to Jala mudra. And so you can have the back of the hands on the legs. So this fluidity, this water element, hydration, lubrication, healing, movement, the breath and the energy is enhancing the quality of fluidity, helping to instill emotional fluidity. Sometimes we suppress or store emotions in the body. This hand gesture opens the second chakra, and we're going to bring in the seed sound of the second chakra. So you can choose either vam or vang, whichever you want. My preference is the ang, so I'm going to just chant one round. And then you can chant it loudly and then slowly a little bit softer, and then inward. Vang, 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 vang. Notice if you can direct your awareness to meditate on the second chakra, lotus, in the lower abdomen, and see if you can allow the seed sound to move into and surround that energy center. We hold the quality of attention with chanting the seed sound on the lotus of the chakra. If we bring in the element of water, and then if we also hear the sound of water, it's quite powerful. So once you've explored the seed sound, the bija, for as long as it feels good for you, just releasing the hand gesture, taking a moment to pause, notice how you feel in the area of the second chakra. And we're going to go into cat cow whenever you're ready, no rush. At any time you need to pause, just pause. So if you feel sensitive on the wrist today, then you're going to just go onto the forearms. Just exhale, feeling that flow of the breath flowing through your spinal wave, starting at the base of the spine, letting the movement trickle up through the second chakra, up through the spine, through the heart, the upper spine, the neck. The head is the last. So each time you flow through the start of the movement, start at your base, start at your foundation through the first chakra. Notice the fluidity of the breath. And then you might even notice that invitation of coming in. I want to give a couple options here. You might pause back into child's pose and rest, and some of you might want to just go into some releasing on the side of the body, arms to each side. You might feel that you want to push up into a downward dog and do a little bit of movement, maybe reaching one leg up in the air. The other flow that I wanted to bring in was the wave. And some of you know this from the Tensegrity Repair series of starting in a modified child's pose and then unfurling through the spine, coming into a plank, and then allowing the pelvis to lower ever so slightly, tugging on the toes, and coming up into your version of very quiet and reflective upward dog or cobra, rounding back into child's pose. You feel the water. See if you can embody that crest of the wave flowing through the body. Allowing the lower spine to draw you back, the base of your body to open you up. You might have another movement that is connecting to you. You might want to pause in child's pose. You might want to do some circles, creating that image, that yantra of water, which is circle, the drop of water. So you might circle around the body. Keeping the breath fluid here. Taking some time to pause, whether it's in child's pose or you might feel that you want to lie back down. Just wanting to bring in one hip release to end. So if you want to feel seated, You can go into a release of a yin pose or fire log, of having the shin forward and the other foot and shin on top. I like to support the other knee coming here. You can also be on your back and going into figure four. You might draw the leg up. Some of you might feel pigeon is being called to you. Some of you might feel when you're here in figure four, you might want to do a little fluid motion. I have my right ankle on my left thigh, and then I'm twisting towards my left side. If you don't want to come down to the floor, you can put a block here for the right foot as you twist over, and then drawing back up to center. So just giving you a couple options here. Taking a few more breaths on one side, and then switching over. If you're using the block and you're going into figure four, then the opposite leg is coming up. Got my left ankle on my right thigh. You might draw the leg up to start, releasing. You might also feel that if you have your left ankle on your right thigh, that you have a block over on the floor by your right hip. It can be on the highest height or the middle height or the flat or the foot onto the floor. And then you exhale and you bring that foot over onto the block. I always exhale into the lower belly and using the lower belly drawing back to help assist the pelvis in coming out. That connection of the lower belly breath. Some of you know this as Samanavai. Notice if the breath wants to release out the mouth a couple times, maybe pursing the lips, maybe shaking, flicking, sweeping, offering some releasing techniques. You might even go into the jostling or the tapping again. Just gonna feel a time of pause. Going to read a piece of poetry. And this piece is by Craig Crippen. And it's called Evolve or Remain. You are being presented with a choice, evolve or remain. If you choose to remain unchanged, you will be presented with the same challenges, the same routine, the same storms, the same situations until you learn from them, until you love yourself enough to say no more, until you choose change. If you choose to evolve, you will connect with the strength within you. You will explore what lies outside of the comfort zone. You will awaken to love. You will become. You will be. You have everything you need. Choose to evolve. Choose love.